Hello. So I'm going to finish here, or I'm going to start here where I finished the last video. So we have already output these three drawings. So we have this one, and I'm not going to clean them up. I'm just going to leave them the way they are for now because we won't waste any time doing that. And we have a couple of views here, which obviously you want to move around, put some hatching in, just general labels are right. We're missing the weld label off that one, things like that. All right, so let's say we want to output this project to a PDF then. So what I do is, so we want to send an approval in. So let's go to output, document manager. Okay, and let's go to our details, and we can see these three are up to date. So select all three, add the batch plot, come down here. I did not want to print there, so this will print these out one at a time, so they'll all be separate files. So you can see my walls come out in gray because I have them set to gray, and I have them set to plot to that color. So let's close this for a second. Let's go back here for a second. Let's just, I'm not going to add anything, but let's try and make this look a little bit better. Alright, so we'll just move a couple of labels around. And you know, you want to add in your dimensions here. Now, you can set it up to have all these come in automatic, which is fine. The dimensions can be a little more difficult to get right. But for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. We'll move it in a little from the corner. Alright, so to output this, if you want to change your output, we just go to plot here. And this is your plot style here. So you can have different ones. But I just changed the advanced steel one generally. So you can see the color 1 is going to come in as black. And if I go to color 8, you can see it's going to come in as object color, which is the gray color. And then also this gray here, 253, I have to come in as object color. Most of everything else comes in as black, so that they plot out as a black PDF, which is what you want. Now, sometimes I will put things in red, and then I'll just switch this to come in as object color. But for now, that's fine. So this is assigned to this drawing. So if I come in here and this prototype, if we come down here and check in here and go to page setup and go to modify, you can see that it's set up here to use that one. Controls whether the properties of plots that are assigned to objects are displayed on the screen. So I don't need that on. So that's fine. Sorry about that. So what I want to do is we want to plot this out. So we'll go back to where I was a minute ago. We've got the document manager, and I want to plot them all out into one PDF. So what I'm going to do is come in here, select them all, add to batch plot. Now, if anybody wants to send the DWGs, you can also come in here and do add to explode. And now if I go into the batch plot, choose a plotter, go to PDF, and I don't want to do single file. I like to output them as a multi-sheet. Now some people do single files. Okay, and then print. So that's going to print those three out. You can see it works away here, and it'll open it automatically, or it should. No, it doesn't always. So what I'll do is I'm going to go into the folder, and it'll be printed out with the DWG. So these are the three I did by mistake, so I can delete those, and this is the one that I want to send for approval, right? So I'm going to rename that, and we'll rename that approvals and 0, because it's going to be the first one, and then I'll give it the date 11/30/2021. and that's going to be our approval, right? So what I'll do now is I'm going to do a new folder in here, and I'm going to just call it Fabs, and whatever you want to call it after that, it's up to you. So I'll just call it Fabs for now. I'll go back to the drawing. So what we can do now is we can output these files. So let's say it's approved and they want the piece details. I've already numbered it, so now we're ready to output. So let's turn off the cameras. Now what we can do is we can do this in 2 phases. So what we can do is we can select this, and what we'll do is right click Advanced Properties and Naming, and we're going to call this lot phase 1 and tick this box. Now ticking this box takes this into account for numbering, so I'm not actually going to do that in this case. And then we'll pick these other 3 beams, Advanced Properties and Naming. Did I do 2 for the other one or 1? So I'll do 2 for this one. Did I do 1 for this one? Yeah, I did 1. Alright, sorry, losing my mind. So 2. Alright, so this is set to 2 and this is set to 1, and I do not have it affecting the numbering. So you can renumber if you want to, or you can not renumber. Now I want to output the material lists and all that, so it's probably good practice to run the numbering. If I didn't tick the box, it shouldn't change any of the numbers for me. So let's just see. So I didn't tick the box and everything is fine. Now if I did tick the box, it would separate these 2 from these 2. So 2 of these would end up being numbered as the next available number, which is B5. So I won't do it right now, but you know what I mean? If I come in, if I select all these and tick the box next to the lot phase. So I'm going to leave it for now. So the other thing you can do is create a query if you want, and what you can do is objects, and you can do steel beams, folded plates, okay, general, and assign a color, and we'll call it yellow. And let's go to naming, and I want to do lot phase, and I want to do lot phase 1. Let's do lot phase 2, because I'm not sure I'll do both of them. So save that as phase 2. Okay. And that's saved that up here as phase 2, you can see. So okay, and now it has selected everything that has phase 2. So every beam and every plate, every folded plate, every folded beam. So what we can do now is we can select all of those, and if we want, we can separate the files for this. So what I do is I have a token in my lists, so I'll come in here, and let's say I don't have the project data in here, so let's put the project data in here. So let's call this Valley Stream, and project number, we'll just call it, we don't have a project number, let's say, and client is myself, and the building is Valley Stream, and the location is Valley Stream. And then you can come into your project info, and I already have these 2 set in my template. So let's put today's date in, and let's put in next month's date in. Now what I do down here is I have attribute 2 set to architect, attribute 3 is for the engineer, and it'll fill it in my header, in my title block. Number 5 then is the one I used in my material list, so I'll call this phase 2. Okay, so I already have highlighted the phase 2 beams. Now I'm going to select them. So I've selected them, And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a material list. So let's come over here. I'll do an assembly list first for these. This is just to show you. I'll go back. I'm just going to do one list for each, but just to show you how you can select a phase and then put it on a drawing. So you can see now in this phase, it's showing you the two B2s that are there, and the two B3s and the one B4. So that's the B4 that's over the door. So you can see, and it says up here phase 2 because I have that attribute in this box here. It's an assembly list, so that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to save that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here and change that token or change that attribute, and I'm just going to call it structural. Okay, and now I'm going to select all the steel here, and I'm going to go to assembly list. I don't create lists the other way. I like to do it this way, and just create new ones each time. So here you can see 2B1s, 2B2s. These other 2B2s are separated because I have the lot phase. So if I remove the lot phase, these should go in as 4 beams. So you know, I guess I'm not really in a hurry, so let's we won't be able to delete them that way. You know, I'll just leave it as it is for now. If you don't put the lot phase in, it'll keep those two together, right? So I won't get into it now because I'll have to go back and delete all the delete them numbers. So I'm not going to worry about it. So we're going to output our list here, and then we're going to export it, and we're going to save this. It's going to be in the folder we want it to be in, and we're going to call it assembly list valley stream. Oh, sorry. Valley stream, and today's date, and save that, and then we can close that. No, I don't want to save that, and then it's already highlighted, so we'll just go to the next one. We want to do material list. So the material list now shouldn't differentiate between these two beams. So let's see. So you can see it's 4 B2s here because right now it doesn't care about the lot phase number. So you see we have the plates here. This is all controlled inside in your bill of materials. You can change the order of these by material or by number or by weight, whatever you want to do. I have some videos on that. So I'm going to export this. Okay. And I'm going to click on that name, and then I'm just going to come in here and change this to material. Okay, save. And then I'm going to close that, and I don't want to save that. And now I'm going to do a saw list with pictures, which is helpful at the start. That'll be the first one they want. These are all cut straight, so it's going to be a pretty straightforward list. This is it here, so it shows you the cuts and the angles, but there is no angled cuts on this one. So we're going to export that. Okay, select the material list, come in here, and saw list, or cut list as I like to call it. So you can see the structural is coming in here again, so that's my attribute 5. Don't save that. And then you can do a point-to-point bolt list, which is helpful. You know, it just takes a second to output it. Not everybody's going to want it, but it can be useful. Point-to-point bolt list will showing you that. So sometimes it gets a little confused. The B2 is connected to, it's not showing you what it's connected to here. And 2 beams marked B2 are connected to the B4. Yeah, so the lot phase, I think, is kind of screwing this up a little bit. So 2 B2 beams here. Yeah, so that's why it's getting separated, because of the lot phase. It looks like I might be missing one somewhere. So anyway, I'd have to look into that. That looks, there's a mistake there for some reason. So it's the B2, the B1, B1. Yeah, it's got an extra line in here of these 1/4 inch bolts. Anyway, I'll just close that out for now. Let's not get into that for now. So now you have your lists, right? So the next thing is you want to do your piece details. So you're just going to select all these. You're going to come in here and go to your single parts selected, and I can put the single parts on ANSI B. Okay. And it'll take, you can see it flickers through every drawing one at a time, so there's not too many drawings. So, and then we want to come in here, select them again, and we'll do assemblies ANSI C. Okay. Now some of these I don't have set up perfect yet, still working on it, work in progress. I'm certainly no expert. Just feel like some of the simpler things, you know, will get you going. I don't need to do everything. Just for small projects, this will be helpful, I think. So output, document manager. So we've already, now you want to print your lists out at this point. You can see I have not exploded these. So you want to go in here, explode the documents. Those exploded documents now will show up inside here. This has just appeared, and these are exploded documents in here. So that's useful. Your bill of materials are in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy those. So copy those. And we'll come back here and we'll put them in here. Paste. And then we also have our approvals. We'll want to send them so they know where to put the parts. Put them in there. And the document manager details. And you can see here's all your part details. Update required for these because I was messing around with the lot phase. So it's okay for now. So let's open all these and we can see what we have. We can see that's a single part. It'll take a second to open. Sorry, I just have to clear my throat. That assembly looks okay. Some of them come in kind of funky. Now I'm working on my laptop here, so this is a little bit slower. Please excuse my voice, I have a bit of a hoarse throat. So just give it a second. Like I said, it's usually open quicker on the PC at the office. So that's everything, right? So let's do this pretty quick, right? Let's try and tidy it up. I'd probably drag these two over. You have a weld detail here and it says typical, so you should be fine. The reason there's not one here is because I only put the weld on one end. So if you want to have the weld both places, put the weld on both places. So it's showing you the plates, so drag these out. You can see this is giving you a top view. Some of my clients don't understand that we use third angle projection and that a view that's on top is the top view. So you can see I also like to put this in so it's 6 feet between connecting members. So that's pretty straightforward. That one is okay, let's say. So you might want to have a quick look up here, just make sure your list is okay. But so come in here. I'm not going to get into it too much. This one looks okay, right? We got the dimensions here, dimensions across the top. Okay. Now I might miss something, but I just don't want to drag this out too much. So let's move this up. I mean, if you want to rescale anything or check your clipping, just come in here. You can rescale it here, come into your clipping. Sometimes the clipping is grayed out. That's because it'll be set to automatic here. See the automatic? So that's okay. So we can close that for now. That's okay. You know, obviously you want to drag this down like this. And you have this one. And you have your weld symbol here. You don't want the weld symbol pointing from the wrong side. So just things like that you want to tidy up. Close this. These clips, you might want to make them bigger. So you might want to come in here and you might want to up this to 3/8 or 1/2 inch, something like that. So you can see over here, because I play around a lot, I've got some undefined references inside in this drawing, which I have to go in and delete. So I'm just going to ignore this for now. And that's just the beam. That's the lintel beam. And that beam looks okay, so we'll close that one. Assembly, so you know, I'm not going to get into it, so some of them you'll have to drag. Probably because I haven't the page set up properly for the work area, so maybe you want to go and revise that when you're looking through. So close that one. And what else we got? Alright, another one here. This one has the clips on it, so I have these set to hand tight in mind. So this is a label I've created myself, because most times my clients just want to hand tight these bolts. It's good to have them tight because you don't want the guy to try and install them with loose bolts. It's a bit of a pain. So you know, if you have a crane or something, that can be a pain. I don't need these ones here, so I can revise this drawing. If we come in here and check the scale, let's say you can up the scale and make it a little bigger. Everything else seems okay down here from a distance. So, you know, you just want to move. You know, I don't need these because I have single parts. If you want to remove them, you can. You can see now that that's clipped that. So what we can do is we can go into the clipping and you can either remove the clipping, or what I like to do is put this up to 6. And then it won't go off the page. But this is a small enough beam that it's going to remove the clipping totally. Now let's see if this, yeah, this one moved back up, so that's okay. Let's call that good enough. And now we got our plates, and we're going to have 8 of those plates, so that's good. Yes. Another thing I do sometimes is on the assemblies with these plates, I should have shown you before I closed them. On the assemblies with these plates, sometimes I put it in as a field weld, and I'll just put wire to ship so that the plates will go with the beam, but don't weld them on in the shop because they need to be welded on site just in case the wall is not exactly where we think it is. So let's say that one is okay. So let's go back and we'll open one of them. So then I want to go back and open one of them, and well, let's open B1. And if we go to B1, we can see, of course, I never straightened that one on the page. So let's pull that one down. So you might want to put in here just wire to ship, and then I'll put the weld on site. So I'll put wire to ship, so it'll be on the drawing at least, and the guy will look at it and go, alright, I'll just leave this with the beam. So that's what some of the clients like to do. Alright, so let's say you have your assemblies, so now you want to output them. So you already have your list, so he's gone and got the material to make the beams. Now you need to give him the piece details. So we want to come in here, document manager, okay. And then we're going to output this the same way. So what I generally do is I'll do the assemblies. Choose a plotter. Okay. And I'll print those out, and then I'll come back in here and I'll go in. It should appear right here once it's done. And it's taking a second just because it's my laptop. Honestly, usually doesn't take that long. So yeah, it's only 4 pages. I don't know why it took that long. Alright, so basically you're going to rename this Valley Stream assemblies, right? Then you're going to come in, go back into your document manager, and then you're going to come back in and select your single parts. Now this is how I do it. Maybe there's a better way. It probably is. I'm sure a lot of things I do are not the right way or the best way. But so I'm going to print them out. Same thing. You can see 1 of 7, and it'll go 2 of 7 all the way through the sheets. And then that's going to appear in the same location in your drawing folder. So now you have your approvals, you're going to have your piece details, assemblies and single parts, and then all you need is your machine files, right? So you can also export the model if you want. Maybe I'll do that at the very end just in case. Alright, so that's outputting. So let's go over here and let's go to DWGs and let's rename that. And then we'll call that single parts. Now, like I say, you probably need a little bit more time to clean them up, but you know, they're probably close enough right there. I mean, I'm sure he'd call me, something's probably wrong. I don't want to output them that fast, but for this video I will. So copy them up into your fabs. I'll come in here, new folder, and I'll call this details, and then new folder, machine files. So that's what you need. Now we need to get the plates. So if we come in here, you can filter, or you can just select. You can just go and select your beams. So you can do this, and then go to your output, and go, you can go into your settings here if you want, change your settings around. I don't need to do that, so I'm just going to output my NC files, and you can see they have already been created. If I go to the folder and go back, DWG, Valley Stream, DSTV, NC, you can see here's your NC files, the 1 and the 2, because I only did these ones. So now what we're going to do is you can also filter. So if you come to your filter tab, you can see I can filter beams. Sorry, filter beams. I filtered this, which is T's. So you can filter beams. This is, or you can use your queries over here to do it. So I filtered the beams there. Now I'm going to do the NC files. You can see they have been created. If I go back to the folder, you can see that there's the rest of them. So the clips are considered beams. Now I'm going to select all the plates. You can see they're selected there now. And then I'm going to go to the DSTV, or sorry, the DXF. So those files have been created. So if I come in here, sorry, if I come in here, you can see these are associated with AutoCAD, so that's why they have an icon. So there's just 2 different types of plates, which is exactly what we have. So then what I'll do is I'll just come back here, and then I'll copy this, and then we'll go back again, go back into your fabs, machine files, and then drop that in there. And now put the details in there. Alright, so now that's it. Now I can zip that up and send it off. So what you can also do is you can also upload this to online. So let's go here, export 3D DWF. That's not the right folder, so just be careful. And that's good. And then I'm going to go online, and I'm going to go to the Autodesk viewer, which I haven't been in a while, so I don't know if I have anything in here. I have one. Upload a new file, select the file. I can come in, and also I can drag and drop, so I can come back into the one that I already have opened and go to DXF, drop it in there. It'll take a second. Doesn't take too long. What I'll do now while that's working is let's go to QR code, and you can use any of these. This one I just used yesterday. Actually, I'll try this one again. So I could go back to your viewer again. Here's your folder. Now, because I had these selected, they come in as yellow, so just be careful. So before you export it, get into your model here and deselect everything with that X there. This one here, clear marked objects. So I'm not going to go back and do it again because it's fine. And then if you want to send this to a client, you can comment on it. So I can zoom in here, and I can go overview, or I can come in here and we can call this connection, and you can keep going here. So it's pretty useful, this. So you can post all that. You can also export this PDF if you want. So this PDF will export here. You can see it down here. So it comes out in a export as a file. My name is there. So we close that. Back to the viewer. We want to share this. So let's select this. Copy. Sorry, or just copy it there. Go back to your QR code generator. Paste your link. Generate the code, and let's do one like this, and then download the code. It'll pop down here, show in folder, and cut this, go over to your job folder, and we'll drop it in there, and let's rename it so we know what it is and what date it is, or what approval it is maybe. So rename as Valley Stream, and we'll just call it Valley Stream 0, right? So we know it's the first approval. I don't usually name it like this, but it'll do for now. So then open this, and we can do copy, and then you can go back to your drawing if you want. In the advanced steel, go back into your drawing and come back in here and Control V, and you can copy your code in there. And then when you plot that out again, you can plot it out the way I did earlier, or you can just plot out the one file, and you'll see it'll come out with the QR code on it. Maybe you want to put the date or whatever, and then they can scan this and it'll bring them to that model you've uploaded online. So, alright, I think that's enough. Kind of see the process, whether that's the way you want to do it or not, I don't know. People probably have a better way of doing it. Just thought I'd share the way you can do a small project pretty quickly and get all your drawings, all your files, and even have a model online. The only other issue we have now actually is I've updated this, but let me just do this one last thing. It's quite important, and from what I gather, some people don't know it. So if you can see, this is not filled in. So let's close it. It's not filled in because it started the project. I didn't fill it in before I created those drawings. I just filled it in later. So what we need to do is go to output, go to labels and dimension, management tools, update page header. Check down here in the bottom. It should show you, it's updated all these other ones, and also these, as you can see, E100, and then there's E10 and E101. So now if you go back to output, and these are not up to date now, but let's open them up anyway. Only because of the lot phase I changed. So you can see it has updated this. Now I never put in the architect or the engineer because I don't know what they are. So that's why those are blank. And this one here, the title, I just change it for whatever I have. So I'll change this to roof plan. Now I should really put this outside the block, so I don't have to go into the block editor to change this. So I would just come in here change that like that. There's going to be a better way of doing that too, to be fair, so that'll have to be changed. And generally I do the revisions manually. I find it easier right now, but maybe I'll find a way to do it better automatically. So I hope that helps. If it does, please subscribe so I know that people are getting some useful information and they want to see some more. And if you like it, please like it. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.